UFC 323s this weekend. Very good card. I went 13 for 14 on the last card, only missing one fight, which was a split decision. So if that doesn't give me credibility, I don't know what does. But I'm going to go through my picks, dive into the X's and O's, and tell you why I think the fighter I choose will win. And I think I got it down to a T. So let me know if you agree or disagree with any of my picks. But without further ado, Merab versus Petr Yan. Let's just call it what it is. Petr Yan's most likely going to lose, but I'm not ready to say he has a 0% chance yet. Merab Dvalishvili's been very active, and that can backfire. I just posted a video about that, why it may backfire, and why Petr actually has a better chance than many are giving him. I'd say maybe he should be a plus 200 rather than a plus 400. But at the end of the day, Merab Dvalishvili's on a tear, greatest bantamweight of all time. We saw how the first fight went, 50-45. Petr Yan allegedly broke his hand, couldn't throw his right. But even with that right hand, I don't think he's stopping all the takedowns. And Merab's likely going to gas him out. I will say Petr has great cardio. And again, don't be surprised if he wins a 3-2 decision. Merab Dvalishvili's not as good at holding people down as someone like Aljamain Sterling, who's beat Petr Yan in the past. So this fight's going to be a lot closer than people think, like I said, but still, I'm going to go with Merab. He's just got the momentum, the aura of invincibility, and if Petr wins, it's going to throw a wrinkle into the bantamweight division. Pantoja versus Van, similar to the last fight. Pantoja's on a roll right now. He's literally has the aura of invincibility, and Joshua Van, he's fought one good fighter, and the rest cans. So is he going to be ready for a 5-round fight? He's never had one before. This is Pantoja's sixth 5-rounder in a row, probably, maybe 5th. So he's going to be ready. His cardio's good. We know it's good. Joshua Van, we've never seen him go past 3, from what I can remember. So maybe he breaks down. But what we do know about Alejandro Pantoja is no matter how good you've looked in your grappling defense against other opponents, it doesn't matter. We saw Kai Kara-France get absolutely mauled. Pantoja just goes forward and puts the pressure on you. Same thing with Kai Sakura. We've seen footage of Kai Sakura wrestling Merab, and he looked good, but you get in the cage with Pantoja, it's a whole different story. So Pantoja has a very clear route to victory. He's going to put the pressure on Van. We haven't really seen Van pressured all too much. How's he do when he's the nail? We've only really seen him be the hammer. Brandon Royval put up a bit of a fight and had some good moments, but at the end of the day, it was Joshua Van leading the dance in that fight. So we know Alexandre Pantoja, his striking is not the cleanest. It's very possible Van can piece him up, hit and not get hit. We've seen him do it before. I know he has the best boxing in this division. He's the best boxer Pantoja's ever gone against. He has power, he has speed, he has precision, he has great movement, everything you could ask for. But I think Van's still young in the game, and a vet like Pantoja is just going to show levels. He's going to show championship experience. And he's not slowing down either. That's the thing. His age could be a factor, but he's looking better and better with each fight, especially since the Steve Erceg fight. You had the Kai Sakura fight and the Kai Kara-France fight. He's looked better and better in each of those. So I do believe Pantoja is going to win. If you look into the X's and O's, you can make a reason and a logical pick for Van. But again, fighting isn't always X's and O's. Sometimes there's external factors that go into play and mentalities. And I just think he's been there. He's done that. He's still hungry. He's one of the hungriest champions. You can tell the way he fights. He fights like, Joshua Van owes him lunch money. So I think he's going to go for it. He's going to put heavy pressure on Van. He's going to give him something he's never seen before with that heavy pressure style. He's going to be shooting takedowns. He's going to mix it up. He has very good striking too, Pantoja. So overall, Pantoja's the more well-rounded fighter. And it's very possible Van catches him, but we also got to remember Pantoja has an iron chin, so that also will help him out in this fight. And again, just grown man strength, championship experience, insane momentum. I think it's all going to culminate to create an environment that's conducive to an Alexandre Pantoja win. Moreno versus Tatsuro Taira. I'm going to go with my first dog pick on the card. I'm picking Brandon Moreno. Now, we've seen Tatsuro Taira lose to Brandon Royval. And let's call it what it is. His striking's not on the level to where it needs to be to outstrike someone like Moreno. And on the ground, can we really confidently say that Taira's going to control Moreno? I don't think so. Pantoja's the best grappler in this division. He's had Moreno's back, couldn't submit him. Moreno also took down Pantoja. Moreno's going against Figueiredo. Guys that are on the level, if not better than Taira. And he's held his own. He's even submitted Figgy, taking down Pantoja, like I said. So his ground game's there. And when it's on the feet, Moreno's going to have the advantage. The one thing I will say for Taira is it's a 3-rounder, which Brandon Moreno hasn't fought one in a minute. But I still think it's not going to be the biggest factor to worry about. He might drop the first round because he's not fully adjusted to the pace quite yet. But once he starts building that momentum, he's going to show his championship experience. You got to remember that his fight with Pantoja was insanely close. Massively dominant fight over Amir Albazi. Then he comes back, has a great performance against Ursig, probably 4-1. Ursig's a very good boxer himself, so I'm going to go Moreno. I just think that experience is going to go into play here. Tatsuro Taira is a one-trick pony in a sense, and while his striking has improved, it's not to the level of someone like Moreno, who is probably the second or third best boxer in this division. Great kicks, insane speed, great chin. I just think Tatsuro Taira is not ready for someone of the caliber of Brandon Moreno yet. He needs more ripples to his game. He needs to improve his striking, and maybe he shows it in this fight, but I haven't seen it yet, or at least I haven't seen enough to make me pick him over someone like Moreno. Cejudo versus Talbot. Again, I'm going to go with the dog here. I think Cejudo, his championship experience, his wrestling pedigree, his striking, his speed, his chin, all are going to culminate to give him a path to victory. He lost his last 3, yes, but we got to remember what the losses were. Split decision to Aljamain Sterling. A 2-1 unanimous decision loss to Merab. He did win that first round. So some people that try to convince you that it was some one-sided domination, completely wrong. When Cejudo was in that first round and still had cardio, he beat Merab. Easily beat Merab in that first round. Go back and watch the fight. Cejudo, when he wasn't gassed out, was beating Merab, but obviously Merab's things, he gasses you out, and your technique drops, your speed drops, and he's able to take over the fight. But before that happened, Henry Cejudo was winning. Then you look at the Song Yadong fight. He got poked in the eyes multiple times. He probably won a round or 2. He was looking fast. He was eating the shots. He was landing his own. And while I didn't get a takedown, you got to go take into account that Song Yadong is a very solid grappler, good defensive wrestling. He's also short and stocky, whereas you got someone like Peyton Talbot, tallest opponent Henry Cejudo's ever faced at 5'10", second tallest in bantamweight, first being Sean O'Malley. Peyton's got power, and his wrestling looked improved. But at the end of the day, if Raoni Barcelos is taking you down 8 times, Henry Cejudo will be able to take you down. And when Henry Cejudo takes you down, I think he's going to be able to chain everything from there. I think he's going to find controlled positions and maybe even find a sub. But again, I can't pick Talbot when I just saw him dominated by a wrestler much lower quality than Henry Cejudo in Raoni Barcelos. And even Felipe Lima. So Felipe Lima took him down multiple times, but he made dumb decisions when he was on the ground to give Peyton Talbot the upper hand. You can go back and watch the fight. He made a lot of bad decisions to give Talbot the top position. Henry Cejudo is not going to make those mistakes. The one thing Henry Cejudo has is experience and fight IQ over Talbot. Also, Talbot, very poor defensively. He gets hit a lot, and his chin's good. Henry Cejudo also has a good chin. Obviously, Peyton Talbot has more power. He's probably just a better striker, but I don't think we can confidently say that he clears Cejudo in the striking department. Cejudo is the same guy that knocked out Dominic Cruz, rocked Merab, was doing good on the feet against Aljo, tagging up Yadong. He's not that bad on the feet. He's very quick. He honestly might have the same speed as Talbot. So overall, Cejudo, his wrestling, his striking, his experience, his durability, he needs this win. This is his retirement fight. He's coming off 3 losses to some of the best in the division. One of them being the GOAT of the division. One of them being a former champ, probably second or third GOAT. And one of them being a top contender. So I'm going with Cejudo. I can't believe Peyton Talbot's a favorite. It's going to be close. Maybe Talbot will win a round. But Cejudo is going to show levels. I really do think that. Next, we got Jan Blachowicz versus Bogdan Guskov. Jan Blachowicz lost to Carlos Alberg 2-1. He arguably beat Pereira via grappling. And we know how good Pereira's grappling is. Magomed Ankalaev couldn't take him down. He had a split decision with Ankalaev, and he beat Rakic. Whereas Bogdan Guskov, in a lot of his fights, he's losing the whole thing until he gets a knockout blow. I can't trust that against, again, I'm picking the vet, Jan Blachowicz. I can't trust that that method of victory to get you by against someone like Jan Blachowicz, who has an iron chin, who's gone against much better strikers than you, quite frankly. He's gone against Israel Adesanya, Alex Bejeda. If they're not knocking him out, what makes you think Guskov is? Because he has power and he's knocked out some cans on the regional scene and earlier on in his career? I don't think so. Bogdan Guskov, he can't afford to lose early rounds and then come back with a knockout blow after being down the whole fight. That's not going to work against Blachowicz. And the method of victory for Blachowicz is there. It's take him down and control him on the ground. We've seen it multiple times. Ryan Spann controlled this dude. I don't care how many levels you improved on in your training camp. It's going to take years and years of improvement to go from getting taken down by Ryan Spann and Billy Alicana to defending all of Blachowicz takedowns. And clearly Blachowicz is out of his prime. But again, I think that championship experience, he's been to the top. He's gritty. He's a crafty vet, very durable, leg kicking king, good grappling, great striking, Polish power. He's going to have to respect Jan on the feet. And when he's worried about him on the feet, he's going to be open for a takedown. And when he's worried about the takedown, he'll be opened up on the feet. Bogdan Guskov only has one method of victory, and it's catching Jan Blachowicz. Because if you go tit for tat, Jan Blachowicz is a better striker. So I'm telling you right now, Jan Blachowicz is another good dog pick. There's a lot of dogs on this card that honestly should be favorites. Jan Blachowicz is added to that list. Those are my picks for UFC 323. If you're still here, I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.